Welcome back to La Verdad Network. This is Yolis and
Jay.
We're here to interview Evelin.
Evelin Salas. Right? Is that how you say it?
Evelin Salas.
Evelin Salas. No middle name. No.
I don't have a middle name.
Okay. Cool.
Nickname Evelin.
Oh, okay.
Spanish.
Evan. That's
Yeah.
cute.
You will visit Chicago here and there?
Yeah. I would visit probably a total of 4 times before I actually ended up moving here. Because I have a lot of family here. Most of my dad's side lives here. And then my mom's sister, which is my aunt. She's the one I live with right now. And then my dad, he actually kind of grew up here. So they didn't really want me here either, you know. Because I come from a small town, really calm, peaceful.
Well, what's the town?
It's called Cottonwood.
And that's in
It's up north by Sedona, Arizona.
Arizona.
Yeah,
So you born and raised in Arizona?
born and raised.
Wow.
That's what I'm used to, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think about it and I'm like, wow, like
Have you been
I don't,
doing that?
yeah,
Have you
like
been
how am I
it?
doing it? Like without my family, I miss them so much.
You're 19, right?
Yeah, 19.
But the way you carry yourself is such in a more mature way, you know. So
Yeah, that's the thing. Since I knew I was gonna move over here and so far away from my family, I'm like, if I'm gonna move over here, like I have to take it serious. I can't just be, like acting like a little kid. Like I came here for a reason. Like I have to act like it. That way people take me more seriously. And that's one of my biggest pet peeves is when people don't take me seriously.
Yeah.
That's why I'm so serious all the time too.
and then to type it all up, it's like anything. Like a lot of us are not tall or like too strong, and it's like they see you're petite, right? You can say that.
Yeah.
But you're like fearless,
Yeah. So you've been a barber for how long? Did you say?
I started when I was 14. That's when I started cutting hair. I started barber school almost 2 years ago though.
What was the name of the barber school?
Chicoche University.
When I met you, you were telling me a story of how you started because you didn't want to be a barber, right? It was like it just happened with your brother.
It just
What did I tell you?
happened. It just happened. And honestly, where I'm from, it's a small town, so there was no good barbershops. And it was kind of interesting to me because my dad, he would go to shops around and like he would always complain. He never liked it. I was confused. I was like, okay, it can't be that hard,
Yeah.
and he would complain because it was so obvious. Like they're all like, oh, they did this thing to this side, but they didn't do it to the other side. And I'm like, really, like what's so hard about it? Like, and it was always interesting to me. I was just really young. I didn't know. I didn't really look into it. And then my little brother, he would get his hair cut by my older brother. But as my older brother got older, he wasn't into it.
Yeah.
He was too busy all the time, and then he had his first kid, so he wasn't into it. And then my little brother, he needed haircuts, of course, and my dad, he would cut his hair and he hated it. He would cry because of how bad he hated it. And then so I'm like, okay, you know what, like I'm just gonna do it, And I was listening to this, like I was in the next room and my little brother, he was crying. He would walk in the room crying. I'm like, really, like why?
Yeah.
It was just interesting to me. And then one day I'm just like, you know what, I'll just do it. And then my older brother, he just taught me the guards. This is the 1, the half, the 2, As it gets bigger, it cuts less. And then he showed me the lever. He's all like, this is what you do this with. And then that's basically what he taught me. And then from there, I just winged it. And then he asked for a taper. And I didn't know how to do it, of course, but I just kind of winged it. And it looked better from when my dad would do it because my dad, he would do the same number all over and then he would just line them up really bad. So obviously it was going to come out better.
Yeah.
And the first time I cut my brother's hair, he was so happy with it. He was so happy with it, he started begging me for haircuts literally every 2 weeks.
Oh.
Wow.
And for me, it was kind of a drag, but I loved it. Like, to see my brother so happy with just a haircut is interesting, Yeah, it made me feel really good. And that's kind of how it started at first. And I just kept going from there.
So you never got to see so like you're saying, you saw it in your house, right? And you didn't go to, YouTube, nothing. It was just
at first, no. But then as I got older and my brother, he's all like, okay, do this, do that. I'm like, I don't know what that is.
Oh, you saw that you were good. That's why. Okay.
I did eventually end up going on YouTube, but not at first.
How did it feel to get, obviously when you were learning, did you expect money? Did someone, what was your first, like, did they give you money, or somebody that you cut, besides your brothers, did they give you money, like, here's some money for you, or?
At first, it was just my brother, and then that's when I started kind of branching off, but I was always really scared. I didn't want to cut anyone else up.
Mm-hmm.
My brothers obviously didn't give me money. They would just help me clean up, but obviously I didn't want money either.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, I think I charged someone $5 or something.
Oh, wow.
That's the first time I ended up
Mm-hmm.
cutting someone up, but they ended up giving me 20.
Oh, that's good.
I was young. I didn't
Yeah.
know. I was like, what? Like,
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Well, you weren't doing it for money. You were doing it because you actually
exactly.
enjoyed it. Yeah.
Exactly. I wanted to get the experience most of all, but when I saw he gave me $20, I'm like, okay, he appreciates it. You know, like he values my work.
Mm-hmm. That's
that,
pretty cool.
That was you young, still thinking like that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I was really young.
That's when you were passionate about it, because you're not doing it just for the money. You actually enjoy it.
Yeah, at that age, I was just like, I just want to get better. I just want to like be really good. And when I was younger, every time my brother, he would talk about haircuts and stuff, it was always the kind of in the back of my head, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. You know, it was always kind of like that.
As you were doing it when you started, you said you were 14. Did it take 6 months or a year, or did you feel like you were progressing all the time? How long did you feel like you were like?
Honestly, at first it felt like I wasn't getting better. At first I felt like I didn't feel like I was good at all. But my brother, he always told me like, wow, when you snapped, like you did so good. Like, oh wow, you did it way better
shout out
than
to your
last
brother.
time. Of course, shout out to my brother, Kelvin. If you're watching this, this is all because of you.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
That's where it started.
Yeah, but he was always like that. He was always motivating me. He was always saying good things about it. He never said anything bad. He was always really, polite, I guess. He was encouraging.
Very supportive.
Even when I didn't feel like cutting hair, because, it was kind of a drag in my parents' bathroom, like having to clean up, having to sweep, and then my mom telling me, like, you're making a mess in the bathroom.
Yeah.
You have to clean it up.
I know that.
Yeah, that's how it was. So sometimes I didn't feel like doing it.
Were you using a cape or a towel?
At first, I wasn't using anything. He would just take
up.
off his shirt and.
That's cool.
That's how it was.
That's pretty crazy though, because now you do a lot of competitions. Like that's how I met you through.
Yeah, a lot of competitions.
That's cool.
So talking about competitions, when was when you got into it, like for real? When you moved, right? The transition of like from Phoenix to Chicago. How did they believe you when you were really leaving? Your parents, when they were like, "Hey, I'm leaving, like in a week or in a month." Like they were like,
That's exactly how it was.
Like they didn't. You were saying it, but they didn't really kind of believe it until they saw it, or what?
At first, I graduated high school May 2017, and at first I was signed up to another barber school in Phoenix.
Okay.
That was my plan, but I wasn't sure of it. It honestly never seemed right, and I guess it didn't seem real, and I was scared. And then I ended up quitting my job June 2017, so the next month. And I felt like I wasn't doing anything with my life because I was just cutting hair, and I was enrolled for August of 2017. And I bought my ticket like a week before I left. Yeah, that's how it happened, literally. And I guess my parents, they kind of always knew, but my aunt and my uncle, they were always like, like you can always come over here, you can always come over here, They were always like pushing it on my parents and me. And it was always kind of like an idea, but I was scared as well, like it's so different.
But you felt like here you would have been, this where you probably would have been where you're at
I don't
right
regret it at all. I mean, this is where barbering originated, and
That's
I feel
how
like
you
I'm
feel.
learning more.
Okay.
Yeah, but I was
That's
scared.
good.
I was really scared. And I always knew that. I always knew this place was going to be better for me, but I was scared.
I think that's so cool that you think like that about Chicago.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I think that's how everyone views it.
You think so?
Chicago.
Yeah, because
You guys are from here.
we
Yeah.
don't know what other people think about us. All we hear is that negative stuff. They don't see sometimes the positive.
Yeah.
So, if you look at it that way, that's also nice to hear.
I feel like my family and friends really did view it as negative as well, though. Like a whole lot of the shootings, all the.
Yeah. Because they were out here for a while. No?
Yeah. Or I remember before I bought my ticket, I told my dad, like, this is a cheap flight, and this is a pretty like decent day for you guys to take me to the airport, and it's good. So my uncle and my aunt, so they could pick me up this day. I'm all like, I'm gonna buy it. Is that okay? They're like, okay, yeah, I guess.
And you're kind of already telling us that you're doing it.
Yeah, so. I just felt like I wasn't doing anything with my life, and I didn't want to feel that way. And I mean, I loved barbering, and if I felt like I wasn't doing anything and I wasn't getting better, I was like, when am I ever gonna do it? You know, that's how it was. Mm-hmm. So I bought it. Me and my dad, we never really were that close. That's why when I told him about it, he didn't really say much. But my mom knew, and they're like, man, you're gonna miss us, you're gonna regret it. And that's how they were. They're like, you're only gonna last a year with all the cold, all the snow. No vas a durar. That's what my mom would say. I'm like, whatever, you know, I just want to leave. I just want to go. That's how it was at first. I really did just want to come over here already. And then I remember the first day I came over here, I landed at night, and I ended up getting to my aunt's house around 1 a.m. And I remember I was really I felt really alone, and I felt everything all of a sudden. And I'm like, you know what, like, I just did it, you know? There's no turning back from here.
So how do you feel now about, since you do work with mainly men, right, at your shop, sometimes as women, since it's such a male-dominant industry, how do you feel, you know, with your relationship with men? You know, obviously sometimes, you know, I bet they flirt with you or things like that. How do you deal with that situation?
Right now I'm still trying to learn how to deal with it. Actually, just yesterday, some guy, he was really way older, and he asked me want to go get a drink or something, you know, things like that. That's how they start at first, but they end up saying, oh, but just as friends, you know, even though they're trying to flirt. And I always try, I'm really nice, but I always try to, I don't try to come off as rude at all. That's why I'm still learning what to say to them or you know, how to deal with it. But I always just talk to my coworkers, you know, the guys that work with me. I'm like, okay, this guy, he's super creepy. He just said this to me. I'm like, what should I have told them, you know? And they're like, okay, just say this, say that, you know. Tell him it's inappropriate, you know. Tell him.
That's good that you're asking, and it's and you're hoping that they're giving you the best advice. Because some guys cannot give you the best. Oh, you should forget this guy, you know, let me know who it is. Let me know who it is, you know, and that big brother stuff. So it's definitely, you know, you really need to when you get those advices, and I bet, you know, you already know are they good ones, you know, and I'm gonna take that one, you know. So definitely, and then I've being here with these women and seeing them and hearing their perspective, it's amazing how it's as a guy, you never really thought about it.
You never really think about it. Even when I was starting out, I never thought about it.
Right.
I want to be a good barber. That's how it was.
And that came with it. Right?
Exactly.
No one knows, and she's definitely.
No one knows. Yeah.
She's definitely has told me so many things about it, and I was like, wow. It's kind of sucks. You know?
It does kind of suck. I'm still learning how to deal with it, but I guess you don't have to be nice. They're already crossing a line. What else could you say? You know, if they're being inappropriate, tell them. And then the guys also tell me, if you feel uncomfortable, just don't cut them. And it's true. It shouldn't have to be more to it. If you don't feel uncomfortable, don't do it.
That's a good thing about working with other men that are
respectful.
That's awesome.
It's really important. As a female barber, I think it's really important to work with guys that respect you, and they can stand up for you as well.
Because they do. I feel like they do. Even though no matter what age you are as a woman, you're always trying to look for that. You can only take so much. And then the guy presence and the guy's demeanor, or how you approach another man, it's they know when to relax.
So the shop that I'm in, it's not the first shop that I'm at, that I ever was at. So when I first started there, I'm like, look, if you want to work with me, if you want me to work for you, this is how it is. Guys are gonna come in and they're gonna be rude. They're not gonna respect me. They're not gonna take me seriously. You have to know how to deal with it as well, or else I can't work here, you know? That's how it was at first. That's the first thing I told him when I started working for him.
Yeah.
That's when I was like, okay, like this is a problem, you know? Like I'm gonna have to learn how to deal with it.
And it's sad because sometimes guys think because you are, you know, naturally we are nice, and they take it like, oh, she's flirting just because she's laughing, or, you know, like, but they always take it as like, oh, she's just.
Yeah, and sometimes I feel like, well, you know how guys are in barbershops, like they get along really good, like they have that relationship, and sometimes I feel like I can't even have that relationship without them thinking I'm flirting, and it's not like that.
Yeah.
And I don't want none of that, especially at a workplace. I don't want none of that, and I feel sometimes I feel like they think that, you know, like they think, oh, she's flirting. Like, no, I just want a relationship.
It's just my job. Yeah.
I just like I want to get to know you, and you know.
Yeah, as a client.
As a client, yeah, of course.
What do you think about how you entered into the barber industry this past year and a half?
Year and a half.
Yep. So tell us about that. What first competition you jumped in, and like how has the journey been from then to now?
So the first competition I ever did was a year ago. It was in March, and it was a school.
2018.
Yeah.
So yeah, about
Last
a year.
year.
Exactly a year ago.
Year.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. So my first competition, it was a school one, so it was pretty small. I was really nervous for it to be such a small competition. It was just a school competition, and there was only like 5-6 of us. I had just gotten on the floor, so I felt like I didn't even know how to cut hair, honestly. And at first, it honestly wasn't what I expected. My first competition, it wasn't what I expected. And my model, he was a kid, and he had so much hair, and it was so difficult. All the judges saw me struggling, but they also knew I knew how to cut hair.
Yeah.
They could see it, and a lot of them went up to me. They're like, "You're really good. Like, just work on this and work on that." And I took it, and I got way better.
That's good.
After then, that was my very first one. After that, I think I did like 5 or 6 more.
And you've won a few
Up to
competitions,
now.
right?
Yeah, my very first one that I won was in October last year. That was.
After how many losses, or how many like
I
lessons?
lost 4 times, and then I placed.
You learned from that, right?
Yeah, I placed first. And I was really shocked, but I was really proud that I didn't give up.
Yeah, that's good.
And a lot of times I did want to give up. I'm like, okay, this is pointless. Like, why am I even doing it?
Yeah.
Because I just wanted to, I wanted to be recognized, I guess you could say. But after I won first place, I was like, okay, like it's all worth it. And I kept battling or competing after then. And I had placed 3rd and 4th. So I just placed 3 times, and I'm still competing.
That's awesome.
What do you think that is? What's the goods about it? What's the bad about it?
I think the good about it is that I'm at every competition, and people always recognize me. People always know who I am, and even outside of competitions, people hear from me. They're like, "Oh, I've heard you've been making a lot of noise in this industry. Like you're doing this, or you're the one from this one." Or, they always recognize me. And I guess like that's what it's about. I guess it depends what you want from the industry itself. The last one that we were at, I thought it was really cool how it was so intimate and we all knew each other.
That was JC's.
Yeah, JC's.
People don't know that though. People don't get to see that, and that's why people need to go and understand that. But it's because you felt that way because all those lessons you learned, and the handshakes that you did went a long way.
They definitely have gone a long way.
That's why I was able to see you so many times, because I was like, she's hanging around or she's taking pictures with these people, and I know I wasn't around, but I was paying attention. Anybody that's in the industry, I always say that, don't act like you don't know what's going on. You do know if you're in it, if you're really following certain people. It doesn't matter how many followers you got, but certain people that you are following and that are in the competitions or being, you see them often, don't act like you don't. But people see you, so, and the biggest, one of the main reasons why it's nice to have you is you're young, you're competing right now, and in a moment where it's already loud. So it's like a lot of the people that are in the competitions that you're doing didn't have competitions back then. So
Yeah, they did it.
and you're building friendships with the right people.
Yeah.
So
That's exactly why I decided to move here as well. Like in Arizona, I feel like they don't have as many as they do here. I feel like here there's always like sometimes even 2 every weekend, if not every month. And I think that's really cool. I mean, this is where barbering originated.
Yeah.
And they're so into it, and that's what I want to be around. That's why I also wanted to move here. I thought it was really cool. Like being on Instagram and saying, oh, this is gonna happen here, and I'm just like, oh wow, like that, this is so close. I remember seeing the first barber competition. It was one of the MLB ones, and I didn't know they were here in Chicago. And I remember seeing it, I'm like, wow, I looked it up on the GPS, and I'm like, wow, that's literally only 30 minutes away from me. Like, I can't even imagine if I were back home, like, seeing this and just regret, like, not being there,
Right.
That's how it was at first.
That's awesome. That's a nice point of view. How you look at it now. So
That's pretty cool.
I'm seeing you now, and the way I'm hearing you, and you got to see the ins and outs. I think almost only a year, and you're getting to see who's who, how the characters are. What do you want? I'm not gonna say 5 years or 3 years. Like, what do you want to do? Like, what do you go?
Goals.
Yeah, like, I know people say I want to open my shop, or I want to be a street, but like, what do you want to do? Like, how do you see it? What do you want to get from the industry now?
I feel like I'm still trying to figure out what I want, but I feel like everything I'm doing is still getting me close to where I think I want to be, because I don't know what I want. I don't feel like I want to open a shop soon, or at all, to be honest. If I were to open a shop, it'd be probably just one chair in a studio by myself. That's, like intimate, I guess you could say, when
Like
I'm built
self-employed,
up.
just,
I think that's one of the things I'm seeing a lot. A lot of guys that want to do their own studios because they don't want to. It's because it's so hard to find like-minded barbers.
Yeah.
Exactly, and I
That's
see
the
that
problem.
so much. It's such a problem. People are struggling so much to hire good barbers, and I don't. What's the point of struggling with that?
It's always been a problem. It's just more highlighted now.
Yeah.
It's always been a problem. There's barber owners today that I know are struggling, and it's like, even me at times. But if you're blessed and you have great, like the guy that is the owner, he knows he's thankful to have you. He sees it. He's thankful. It's gonna be a hard move when you leave. It was a hard move when I left so many shops. It's like they know, but we know that we can't keep you forever.
Yeah,
They can't keep us forever because we have to push and keep moving forward and keep like congratulating and keep being there. A lot of owners don't understand that. So 100%. I mean, we're living in the era that only the real ones like yourself, and if you're gonna stay. You're gonna be in the industry for the next 5-10 years or a decade or more, because this is what you really are. This is who you are. Other guys are just in it just because they want to look good, and it's true. It's like, oh, it's money, but they don't know the struggle.
Yeah.
They don't know what you just said, the moves you made, how long it took you to build clientele. They don't want to go through those sit downs. They thought that I just get the dope clippers, I get the dope, barber capes and everything, and shake hand, but they forget to build the relationship, the strong friendships.
Yeah.
Take pictures is cool, but do you even know his first name and
Yeah.
say how he was doing, happy
Stay
birthday,
connected.
like,
Yeah.
oh my God, that's so important, and that's not gonna take you to the next level just because you took a picture with him.
Yeah.
My purpose was always, when I was growing up, my parents, they moved over here, young immigrants. My mom never got to see her parents my whole life. She never got to see her parents. She was never able to go to Mexico, and for me, their struggle, I wanted to make it worth it. I always wanted to make it worth it. And just hearing how they never got to see their parents, their families, their sisters, their nephews, I guess you could say that was always my purpose.
Your drive too, right?
It was always my drive. It was always on the back of my mind, all the struggles, everything that came with it. There's so much that people don't see about it that I did, and I felt their struggle a lot. So I guess you could say it definitely was.
That's cool.
That's nice.
So what do you think is a word of advice for a lot of other younger women that are not even just for barbering? I know it's becoming more popular as women, but what would you say is your best advice that you would give to somebody that's thinking about joining this industry or trying to do something?
I guess just think about why you're doing it, the drive. Don't do it because it looks cool or because you see this on Instagram, because nothing is what it looks like in Instagram. Nothing is what it looks like. They could always just ask me for help, to be honest. I was always that kind of girl that, I was always helping.
Mm-hmm.
But if they were to join this industry, just think about why.
Yeah.
So you don't get caught up.
When you have a moment, just like Instagram and all that, and you feel it, say it, because someone will reach out. Because you are getting
That's
followed.
definitely true. Yeah.
You are getting followed, you are being watched, and you don't know that one girl that probably wishes she could. She's like, wow. And then they're going to test
Never
you.
knew who it is either.
They're going to test you. They're going to see if your character parallels with what you're saying, your words and your actions.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to test you, because then they're going to be like, she said this, but she never did.
Mm-hmm.
He said that, and he never did that. There's going to be people out there that are going to test you on your word. So definitely, you should definitely put it out there. Every once in a while. You never know who will reach out.
Mm-hmm.
It's just advice.
Yeah. I'm so excited for you.
So
Yeah.
definitely, I think that's good.
Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. This was Evelin Salas on Verdad Network, and hopefully she can inspire you with everything that she shared. She's got amazing talent and wisdom behind her. Like you just heard it from her, you can reach out to her, and
We'll put everything on the on
description
Instagram,
box.
everything.
Mhm.
And,
follow her on Instagram or wherever she's at.
see her now, 2019. Hope to see her again in 2020 and 21 and every other year. See where she's at
Yeah,
after that.
we're excited for her.
Well, thank you guys for having me. I'm really excited to see the footage after.
Ew.
Yeah.
You did good. You did good.
Thank you, guys.
Cheers on this.